What's up, Gila Golfers? Welcome back to our Sweet Spot episode 7. This week is all about finding out the fairer side of the golf game. We're going to interview some lady professional golfers as we catch up with some of Malaysia's best. We're also going to talk to them and see, in terms of experience on the golf tours, what they have to share and their perspective on what they've gone through so far. And for this week, as usual, I'm going to bring my partner in crime, Mr. Jonathan Punaya from Par Golf Malaysia. Jono!
Hey, Shawno.
Good night. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm
quiet 1
extremely
week.
happy. Extremely happy.
I'm surprised how the producer allowed that. Can we have the producer take that? Get crest off.
I snuck it in. I mean, I haven't changed since Sunday, So. 30 years, bro. 30 years. I could have had grandkids in 30 years.
At least you said
biologically.
You Sunday.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought that it's been 30 years you haven't changed the shit.
Oh, no.
Okay, Jono. So today we got all ladies lineup.
Yes, we do indeed.
Show today, right? So we have our own Malaysian golf legend / elite coach, Miss Lim Siu Ai. Okay,
yes.
And we also have an upcoming touring pro / social media influencer, Genevieve Ling, who is very active now. I've also noticed that her YouTube channel is picking up pace. Right? All these millennials and their social media pages, which is good. Good for the game, good for the profile, good for the country.
Correct.
Right. So, this week's session is all about girl power.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's appropriate, that we talk about ladies golf because the LPGA is due to restart towards the end of this month, in Ohio, which has been a long time coming. And that's in the US, but over in Europe, perhaps things not quite as rosy, but they've had some help from none other than Justin Rose, who has started a professional series in the UK called the Justin. It's on the Ladies European Tour, because the Ladies European Tour is not happening right now, so they call it the Rose Ladies Series, for golfers who are in the UK. Not a lot of prize money, but at least something that they can play in, to keep those competitive juices flowing and so on. And there's been, in Asia, the regional circuits have resumed in maybe like countries like Taiwan and Korea, but the problem is, with the travel restrictions, it's very hard for non-citizens of those countries, or actually virtually impossible for them to go there. So, but golf is starting again, especially in Korea. They've had a few big events. So, hopefully soon, when the travel restrictions are lifted, players like Genevieve, who are still active on tour, can, start playing again. And a few feel-good stories have come up on the ladies scene. We have So Yeon Ryu, who actually donated her entire winnings, from the from the Korean ladies. What tournament is that? The Korean Women's Open to COVID-19 relief. So that's. But she's always had a reputation for being very philanthropic. She's supported a lot of charities in the past, but it's still, it's amazing. She donated all her prize money, which is just amazing to see. And Annika Sorensen as well, the Swedish legend. She's actually helped out the players on the Symmetra Tour, the second tier of the LPGA, which has not seen any events. And, these players really need help to, get by in these tough times. So good to see, those who are better off helping those ladies who are not so well off. So, yeah, like they say,
it's actually interesting, because even on the PGA Tour, right, we had a few of the caddies, the PGA Tour caddies who started the fund for the Asian Tour caddies. Right,
correct, the European Tour caddies, correct.
Yeah, and then on the LPGA also, you're having, they're giving back. It's not so much for the tour, but for the community, right? The COVID-19 and all that, because everybody has been affected badly, right? And it's nice to see that they're helping, give back some way or another. That's very, very sweet of them. So, I mean, that's interesting, very interesting. we also want to have some point of views from our two special guests today. Are you ready for the ladies, bro? Are you ready for that?
Yeah, we're ready. So maybe for those of you who have not familiar with ladies golf, but everybody knows who Lim Siew Ai is. She's a real legend. She played for 10 years on the LPGA Tour. A career best finish T2 at the Kellogg Keeper Classic in 2004. She went through the college golf system in the US, was a first team All-American in 1994. She was part of the last ladies team from Malaysia to win a SEA Games gold. This was way back in 1993, which is just amazing. I mean, it's been so long since we've seen a goal from the ladies team in the SEA Games. She's retired from competitive golf now, but she's now become an elite coach, and she's based at the Masters Golf Performance in Glenmarie Golf and Country Club. She coaches juniors, elite players, doing very well. Siew Ai is one who has invested a lot of time and effort in educating herself as a teaching professional. So it's something that our other professionals would do well to emulate. Once your playing career winds down, it's good to have something to fall back on. So teaching is obviously something that is right up her alley, because she can not only impart her skills but also her immense experience and knowledge of the game. And of course, on the other end of the scale, we have Genevieve, who's just not a rookie, but still a relatively young pro, been on tour for about 3 years now. She's already won 4 times on the local circuit, so that just shows how good she is. And as an amateur, she was a good junior, did well on the local Sport Excel circuit, became a member of the national team. She was in the SEA Games team as well in 2015. They finished 4th, so they didn't get a medal, but still, stellar amateur career. Again, went to the US for college as well. Boise State University, did very well there. Won a number of events. And from there, she came back and tried to qualify. She tried to qualify for the LPGA in 2017, just missed out, make it to second stage, which is pretty good. And since then, she's playing, in the region on tours like the Taiwan LPGA, China LPGA. Of course, right now, no events right now, but she's diverted her energy to social media, as you said earlier, on Instagram. She's got 26,500 followers, which is amazing. She just started a YouTube channel and doing pretty well as well. Very, very good response. So perhaps time to bring on the ladies.
Yeah, next on the team, we have Miss Lim Siew Ai and Jeremy.
Hi, Siew Ai.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for having us on, Sean and Jonathan.
Welcome on the hot spot. It's called the hot tea box. Get it?
yeah, right. I wanted to call it the G spot, but they wouldn't let me.
Not on this show, bro. Not on this show.
You might get in trouble for that.
You might open a can of worms. That's right. See, I got it right. You might get into trouble. Yeah. Welcome, ladies, and thank you for coming to our show today. Today, we're just going to talk to the two of you on your different experiences that you guys have gone through on terms of the golf, local, international. Please share with us. We're also going to have a lot of questions from the audience, which we'll bring in as they come up, right? But in between that, Jonathan will lead the whole Q&A session because that's what he's good with. He knows a lot of the historical parts of golf. I'm still only 19, so I gotta learn a lot. Okay.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Universe. I'm Mr. Universe. If you're 19, I'm Mr. Universe.
Jeremy, for the record, Jeremy, your followers on Instagram is just slightly more than mine, but I'll catch up.
Oh, okay.
You can give them some tips.
Yes, I will pick up some tips from her. Okay, I will get some tips from her.
Okay, that's Genevieve's Instagram page.
The producer has to show me down, right? Show me down. I'm only like 25.5, and she's like, okay, all right. Okay, Jono.
Okay, right. Okay. Ladies, just to start off, maybe you could just share with us what you've been doing, the last few months. Obviously, golf has restarted, but during the time when golf courses were closed and academies and driving ranges were closed, what do you girls do to keep busy? Maybe we start with Siew Ai.
Okay. Well, I caught up on my sleep. That was the first thing I did. And then I had a pup that came to the house, and so my two dogs have been keeping me somewhat busy during the MCO. And during that time, yeah, there you go.
So cute.
We were having our nap together there, and we during the days, and then also during MCO there was this a lot of online classes. I decided to kind of continue to upgrade myself. That's the other one. That was.
Oh, look, what are the names?
That one's Storm, and the black shepherd is Jet. So Jet Black, and
cool.
This one was creating a lot of storms. But anyway,
look at that look. He or she adores you, is it?
He's like, "What are you doing?" But yeah, I was like, "It's a selfie." Yeah, Genevieve, I need some help on that one too. Yeah, it's just how to take those selfies. But anyway, so did a lot of online classes. You know, some Titleist certifications, as well as online. There was a consistent golf summit that I attended, which was of course in the US. So it was like from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m., which then disrupted my sleep pattern again. But it was good. A lot of good information that I learned from that.
Was that a TPI thing as well?
No, it was actually organized by Bo Watson, and the 2019 Teacher of the Year was there. So a lot of really great speakers, and learned a lot from that. Yeah.
So still growing and learning, you know, even with all your experience.
You can't stop learning. You can't. Just there's so much information out there, and it continues to develop as we go. So the minute you think you've got it, then you start backing up. So you just have to keep your eyes open on what's out there and keep improving.
Okay, great advice there from CY. What about you, Jen? I mean, without being able to play on tour, obviously, so how have you been keeping the swing going and keeping fit and so on?
Yeah, so if you follow my Instagram, you would know.
Yeah.
That's how she gets
to the ladies.
That's how you get your Instagram up.
Yeah. Follow.
But I did a lot of speed stick.
Okay.
So speed stick is something that's gonna help me like improve my swing speed. So I did a lot of that because obviously I couldn't go out and actually hit balls. But I also did a lot of home workouts and stuff like that.
Okay, there you go.
So yeah, it was definitely very different for me because I'm used to going out every day and being under the sun. Yeah. So yeah, it was definitely an experience. I was getting kind of like too bored, stuck inside, and I was just figuring out different things to do. So I was doing all kinds of weird trick shots at home. So yeah.
Okay.
So hitting balls, that's what you're keeping your time with, right? Hitting balls.
But I guess at home it was mainly short game. You did manage to do some short game practice as well.
Yeah, I did a lot of putting on my. Good thing I had a putt out mat, so I could putt on the mat. So obviously doing just stroke work and stuff like that. So yeah, putting you can still do at home, but it's just like not being able to hit a ball. Yeah, that was so weird.
Okay. Do you have a coach?
Do I have a coach? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Did you do anything online with your coach?
No, because he's kind of like a coach and a mentor. Like I go to him when I have issues, and it's very hands-on. So yeah, obviously after MCO was over, I went to see him, but over the break we didn't really do anything.
Okay. Who's your coach, by the way?
His name's Eric. He works at KDE.
KDE. Okay. Yeah. So speaking about coaching, it must be good to be back out there teaching elite golfers and juniors. But is it tough working as a coach, now with the new SOPs where you can't really touch people or, to put them in the right settings, the body settings and so on? Is it difficult with the new normals?
It's a little bit of a challenge, but it does challenge you as a coach to think out of the box. So there are different ways to, you have to demonstrate more obviously. So it's the whole concept of monkey see, monkey do. So the more that you can demonstrate, the more it appeals to the visual learners a lot. Obviously, the kinesthetic learners will struggle a little bit because they need that feel. As you can see in that picture, I'm wearing a mask, and that's just to help protect my students. It's not the most comfortable because breathing is an issue. So
I can imagine.
But it's not too bad. I've learned how to find ways around it, though it fogs my glasses up. But hey, that's okay. We'll manage. But it's I've also learned how to teach with a golf club. So you like move their clubs with another. You just not too hard, they don't like it too much if you poke too hard. But yeah.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I have heard that too.
On the golf course. Okay, never mind. Okay, anyway, let's go back to Jen. Jen, I noticed on your Instagram that you've been playing a lot of golf since the golf course reopened. How's the game coming along? Must have been a bit rusty, in the first few games.
To be honest, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty easy to get back into it. I think because I was swinging a lot during the MCO. But yeah, I'm definitely playing a lot more now. I'm just taking this opportunity because I feel like we're never going to get another opportunity like this to not be competing and to be able to work on my swing. So I'm doing the swing changes that I need to do right now, and it's great to have this time. But obviously, I'm looking forward to going back to competing.
Okay, that's at the TPC KL. You're an ambassador for TPC KL, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you also play a lot at KRTU, Club Rekreasi Tentera Udara, which is your home course.
Yeah, I play there on the weekends usually with my dad. So yeah, it's very different courses. One is super pristine, and one is old school cow grass.
Yeah. Commando course, a bit of a commando course, but a good training ground. Good training ground, isn't it? KRTU. And you just started your. Yeah, not me, but Sean played there once. Tough course. And you just started your YouTube channel, and it's been going pretty well. I think lots of views with your Golf with Jen, right? You called it.
Yeah.
So what made you start?
To be honest, I feel like there's a bit of a negative connotation with being active on social media, but it was kind of my major in college. I did media and communication.
Okay.
So yeah, I am very interested in. I know the importance of the social media in with golf. It's so big now, and it's a lot of people have been asking me to start YouTube channel, and I'm trying to give the information that I kind of wish I had when I turned pro, because I feel like it was not easy for me to just go out and be what's the process of turning pro? What do I do on the pro circuit? How do I train as a pro? Things like that. So I'm trying to just share a little bit about what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just basically sharing your experiences with maybe junior golfers out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Let's we was talking about KRTU just a while ago. Maybe you could share with us how you started out at KRTU, who introduced you to the game and so on.
Yeah, obviously KRTU is not a course that everybody becomes a member of. My dad basically got all of us memberships when we were younger, so it was a family membership. So it was me, my mom, my sister, and my dad. We all go out every Saturday and Sunday and play golf. So it was really fun. It was a good way for us to bond and spend some time together. But yeah, I picked up golf when I was 12. So my dad, me, and my sister all picked it up together. And my mom just kind of picked it up because after I started getting competitive, I needed someone to play with. So she became my companion, and she would just come out to KRT with me because it was pretty cheap, for her to just come out with me, and then she would sit in the buggy and just drive it around, and I'll play golf. So it was lots of fun. But yeah, she was my everyday golfing buddy.
Okay. And then you started competing, but when was the exact moment that you decided that you wanted to become a professional? Was it junior days or while you were in college?
To be honest, I don't know. Like once I started competing, I kind of took golf very seriously. Like I obviously loved it, and then obviously when I learned that you could a scholarship to go to the US, I did that, and then I went to play in the US, and it was just like the next logical step for me to turn pro. Like I didn't really have to think twice. Obviously,
Okay.
I was lucky enough that I was given the opportunity to be able to pursue this career. So yeah.
Okay. What about CY? You know, I think you started golf when you were about the same age as Jen, I guess.
Yeah, I was 6 years old.
6. Wow.
Yes, I was a wee little thing. My
Yeah,
there
that's
you go. That was yeah. Bill McWilliam was the guy that started me on golf, and
okay.
my dad was actually took my brother and sister to get lessons with him, and I'm about 6 years younger than my sister, and of
Okay.
course I did not want to be left out, so I was like, no, I'm coming too, and so I started from there and just continued playing. I think I played my first tournament when I was 8.
Okay.
That was back then in the Commercial Union Malaysian Junior
Correct.
Open. We had
Yeah,
only
yeah.
one junior tournament a year. That was like the grand finale, right?
Okay.
So that, and then my poor mom, who didn't play golf at that time, was also relegated to taking me to the golf course. But unfortunately for her, there was no buggies to ride, so she had to trudge it in the heat with me. And then at 8 years old, it's like hot lah, thirsty lah,
Yeah.
hungry lah. Yeah, so she had to put up with all that nonsense lah. So yeah.
Yeah. So those pictures with Bill were at Royal Selangor Golf Club.
That was at Royal Selangor Golf Club. That's where I started.
Okay. Was your father and your parents members there? Were they
Yes.
members?
Yes. My dad was a member there, and I'm a member there. Currently a member there as well.
Okay. Okay. Do you go back to play a lot at the RSGC?
Not so much. I've played on occasion with some of my students that want to like get on the golf course and do a bit more on course management, or like I can do it on the range. I can't do it on the golf course. You know, the normal complaints. So yeah, I get on the golf course then with them. So it's just one of those things.
Have you played at all since golf courses reopened, or just busy
I have
with teaching?
I have not. Actually,
Really?
once things reopened, I think everybody wanted to dust the rust off their game. So I've been quite
Correct.
busy actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
And when was it that you realized you wanted to be a professional? Was it while you were still here, or when you went to the US?
I think that it came in 2 parts. I think that my first interview that is on file stated that I wanted to be a professional golfer at the age of 8. But I think that was kind of put on hold a little bit when I went to college. I just wanted to see what was out there. And then eventually, I think my senior year in college, I decided, I finished 9th on the national championships. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to take that next step. So that was when I decided really to pursue professional golf.
So you stayed on in the US and tried to qualify for the tours, I guess.
Yeah, I did. I played on the Futures Tour. I think Symetra now. And so back then I played 2 years, and then I got my LPGA card in 1999. Was my rookie year. And then played 10 years on the LPGA.
10 years, wow.
Yes, it was a lot
amazing.
of fun. Enjoyed every minute of it.
Amazing achievement, CY. Amazing achievement.
Thank you.
Yeah, true legend. Anyway, CY, apart from Bill, who started you out in golf, I know there have been a few people who have been very influential in your career. Would you like to share? Coaches, mentors.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously, my parents were the reason it all started, right? Because if they weren't for them, you wouldn't be on the golf course in the first place. But then, aside from Bill, the other person that would probably, I would say, have played a significant impact in my golfing career was my coach when I was on tour, Hank Johnson. And then Hank was my coach from 2000 till I retired. on tour,
Okay.
2008. That's Hank. And after I retired, I went to teach for Hank. So I was apprenticing with Hank at his school. Hank was the 2004 PGA Teacher of the Year. So I knew I would be in good hands in terms of learning how to teach. And so I spent probably about 4 years apprenticing with him, learning how the ins and outs of being a good golf instructor. And then I came back in 2013 to Malaysia to work with Impact Elite Golf then.
Okay.
David.
And now you've opened. Yeah, and now you have opened your own academy.
Yes, I started my own
Masters
golf
Golf.
academy in 2016.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And is Hank still teaching back in the
He
US?
is. He is. He's actually his school is called Hank Johnson School of Golf, and he's also
Okay.
part of the Golf Academy golf schools. Yeah, so he's one of the locations for the Golf Academy schools.
Okay. Well, what about you, Jen? Who would you say have been the most influential people, in your road towards becoming a professional?
Obviously my dad. Like without him, I wouldn't have started golf.
Yeah, it's always
I
parents.
think my family obviously are they're the biggest supporters. I think growing up it was basically my family who pushed me and who supported me the whole way. But also after that, I think my college coach, because she gave me the opportunity to go to the US, which I didn't think before that. I didn't even go to the US, so I didn't even step foot, didn't see snow, didn't know how to play in different conditions. So I think going to the US really changed my game. So yeah, and also my current coach, Eric, because I think he's the coach that I've been with the longest, and he's one that's actually like helped me a lot, not just with my swing but with my game. So yeah.
Okay. So Eric's local. He's based at KD.
Yes, he's kind of like Australian, I think, but I mean, just consider him Malaysian.
Okay, so he's
localized. He's localized.
No, he's Malaysian with an Australian accent, so he's definitely Aussie.
He's Malaysian with an Australian accent, but he's definitely Aussie.
I'm confused.
Okay, I'm confused. I'm very confused right now.
Just have a conversation with him.
Quick question,
Yes.
Did you have an idol while you were growing up?
Did I have an idol? I would say if I had an idol, it would have Seve Ballesteros.
Okay. Yeah, amazing golfer.
Interesting.
Yes, I always liked the way he could get out of trouble from all over the place. And then my mom was like, "Can you stop playing like Seve because you're giving me a heart attack?" So I was like, "Oh, okay." So yeah.
Yeah, Seve changed the game. I think not just with his ability, but his charisma and really took golf to another level.
Tremendous player.
Amazing guy. I tried to emulate him by getting out of trouble a lot, but it was more on the golf course, more in life. Anyway, Jen, what about you? Did you have an idol, Jen?
I grew up in the era of Tiger Woods, so the one
and
only.
Yeah.
We're in the same era, Jen. We're in the same era.
Yeah, right. Sean's still a teenager. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the tour, guys. Let's talk about your experiences on the tour. Jono?
Yes, CY. The early years, playing on professionally in the US must have been tough, but it must have been a great experience as well. I mean, you were a pioneer for Malaysia.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about playing collegiate golf back then was that when you did get out on tour, there was a lot of college players that were out there already.
Okay.
So you're not quite so lost that you don't know anybody at all. But then also, I remember my rookie year, I think the first tournament I went to, went into the players' locker room, right? So you're proudly showing your little player's badge that you can now get in and you're some big shot lah. So then I sat down at the lunch table, you're having lunch, and then, you have to do your rookie hours and all that. So I'm having lunch, and then in walks Kari Webb, and she sits down right there and has lunch, and in walks Kelly Robbins and sits and has lunch with her. So you're like, oh, okay, I've seen you on TV.
Yeah.
And then in walks Joanne Carner, who's a legend, and she sits on the
Okay,
next
yeah.
table, and in walks Nancy Lopez and sits, and suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, this air is
Yeah.
getting very
Legends. Yeah.
rarefied,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
quickly eat and try and get out of their way because you're not comfortable yet around them. But you kind of, after a while, you see them every week, and it's not quite so intimidating after a while. And yeah, you get to know them as human beings, so it's a lot of fun to
But
get through the process. Yeah.
but they're nice people, right? I'm sure they must have been very
Super
welcoming
nice,
to
super nice. I mean,
rookies. Yeah.
one of my greatest memories as a rookie was at Sybase in New York when we were playing a tournament. I made the cut. One of the
Okay.
first times I made the cut on the LPGA in my rookie year. And I was paired up with Annika Sorenstam, and she was playing really
Wow.
well at the
Yeah.
time. So my caddy called me the night before and goes, "Guess who you're playing with?" And I'm like, "Who?" He goes, "Annika." I'm like, "Oh, great! Now I'm not going to be able to sleep." So
Yeah.
I got to play with her the next morning, and thankfully I teed off first, right? So I get to the tee box, and there's a lot of people around the tee box, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're coming to watch me
Yeah.
play. So they teed off. They introduced me as from international rookie from Malaysia, Sue Ai Lim. So everybody does the nice golf clap. I tee off, hits
Yeah.
it down the middle, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Okay, so I'm standing there. I'm going, yeah, playing with Annika, and then they introduce Annika. They go, she was the whatever year rookie of the year. She won the U.S. Open this year. She won the tournament last week, and she's the defending
Okay.
champion for this week. And as they kept reading that list, I just kept getting smaller. And then once they got to the end of the list, the crowd just went, yeah! I'm like, I leaned over to my caddy. I go, I think they came to watch
Okay.
her. So yeah.
Yeah. Well,
No,
possibly.
yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure about that, UI. I'm not sure about that, but maybe.
I think there were one or two Malaysians in the crowd, and they cheered very
Yeah.
well for me. So yeah,
Yeah. Malaysians tend to be quite noisy. You just need one or two.
there you go.
And Jen, you tried to qualify for the LPGA in 2017. You went to Q School, right? So could you perhaps share with us, that experience, trying to get on the biggest tour in the world?
Yeah, obviously I went to Q school right after I graduated from college. First thing I remember, it was super hot. It was so hot, like it was in the desert.
It was
people were passing out, and
Passing out?
It was crazy. Yeah, like
No,
people
but
were dying going hiking. It was really bad.
really,
But
this is in Rancho Mirage, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's where they play the Anna Inspiration. So it's a
Correct.
great course, and I actually play that course for my conference tournament every year. So I kind of know the course, so I had a little bit of an advantage there. But yeah, it was a great experience. Like, I mean, obviously Q School is very nerve-wracking. Every shot counts. You can miss qualifying just by one shot.
Yeah,
And
CUI is
it's
nodding.
so easy to just lose one shot,
Yeah.
So, I mean, the pressure is definitely there. But yeah, just making it through first stage was a good sign for me. But obviously second stage, I think it was in Florida, and I wasn't as prepared for the second stage. I wish that I could have played that golf course more. And it was a great experience overall, and I'm hoping to go back again. But yeah, it's definitely something that I want to do for the future.
Okay, who else was in that qualifying school? Any prominent golfers who are on tour right now who were in 2017 Q School?
Probably all the new ones. I mean,
Yeah.
Mooney He.
Munihi. Yeah.
Probably a lot of people know that.
That's another Instagram star there, Munihi. Yeah. So any plans to try again, Jen? Maybe to get to where CUI is right now. The plans to go back to LPGA Q School. Now I think they call it the
Qualifying the Q series.
Q series. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, like this year, it's not even happening anymore. I think they first pushed it to November, hoping that will happen, but it's not going to happen. So maybe next year. But obviously, it's a big amount of money that you have to spend. So that's kind of what I'm working towards, and everything I'm doing now is in preparation for the future. So yeah.
Yeah, I think, Sean, we got a question from someone about
Yeah,
local.
we got one of our viewers is talking about highlighting the local community in golf in Malaysia from Mr. Julian Keyword. He's talking about highlighting local profiles to experience self-made tournaments. I'm guessing he's talking about giving exposure more for the local tournaments on tour now, right? So,
Yeah, so
yes, point
yeah,
noted. You will.
yeah. So perhaps CY and Jen, how important is it to have like a local circuit? For like in Thailand, they have a pretty decent Thai LPGA tour for our players, to keep active while during the off seasons overseas. CY?
Yeah, I think it's really good to have a local tour because again, it helps with expenses and not having to travel so far. So it makes it more feasible. Also, there's a lot to be said about being able to stay competitive. So having a vibrant local tour that has competitive players really will be able to help sharpen and hone your skills for better, higher level golf. So I think it's really important to have a strong local tour that's well organized and just able for players to just practice being professionals.
I guess that's why there's so many good golfers coming out of Korea and Thailand,
Yes,
Taiwan,
absolutely.
Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the local tour, Jen, you've won 4 times on the local, PGM ladies events. So how important was that?
Wow.
For you
Congratulations.
from to be able
I
to play
think,
and to win.
yeah, I think one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is the girls that play in Malaysia, even though there's not that many of us, a lot of them actually have achieved like really good results when they play overseas. So no matter how many girls are playing, I think it's not really the quantity, it's the quality of the players. So it's great to be able to compete with each other. And when we play overseas, we never get paired up together. So it's really
Yeah.
nice to have a local tour. And obviously it'd be great if it was like still around now because we would be able to stay competitive. Like I know girls in other countries are still able to compete during this crisis, like, pandemic stuff. But I mean, another thing is that I think it gives us all an opportunity to get closer. Like I was kind of the only one that went to Q school when I did, and I was never really that close to the other girls just because of like age gap and stuff like that. So I think I really like built better connections with them through PGM tournaments and being able to hang out more with them. So yeah, I think it's great just for the golf community in general.
I think the other girls, the slightly more senior girls like Ainil and Arita and Diane, they kind of like take care of you as like a baby in the whole group. That's what you told me, man. You were the baby among all the our touring pros.
That was all right.
She's not making any comments.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna wait for the
Okay.
Instagram post where it's like, Jonathan didn't call me the baby, did he?
Okay, scratch that. Let's go back to CUI. I'm gonna save myself here. CUI, it's you went to play on the LPGA in the late 1990s, 2000, and now it's changed a lot now. Do you think it was tougher then or now?
I think in terms of playing, I think it's tougher now. I think there's with the advent of even back then, the Koreans were very dominant already back then. But I think you see a new major player in the world, which is Thailand. There's a lot of Thai, but it started with the Ari and Nari. Then you had
correct.
you also had Virada, and then so you started seeing all these precursors before that, Rasami, Godianamita as well. So you saw all these players coming up, which then paved the way for the Arias and the Morias and I can't pronounce any of the others.
Purnanong.
Yeah. I'll get in trouble if I say any of the names. But yeah, so I think golf in Thailand, especially for the girls, is just exploded as well. It's just it's the same thing is happening in Thailand that happened in Korea. So you start seeing a lot of new players. So there's more players from an international standpoint now vying for a spot on the LPGA. But also you look at the Q series. It's very grueling just to get on the LPGA tour now. For me, when I went through, we had 2 stages of qualifying, and now you're looking at 3 stages, and then I think the last stage is 7 days. So it's tough. It's tough.
Okay, yeah, I guess, but it's much more international now. I think there's much more nationalities.
I mean, you look at even from Mexico, after Lorena did, you start to see quite a number of players from Mexico emerge as well. So they're coming from all over the world now.
Okay. Speaking about going all over the world, Jen, you play in a few tours. You play in the China LPGA, the Taiwan LPGA. Things have kind of restarted, I understand, but because of the travel restrictions, you can't get there. So that must be a bit frustrating for you.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, the Taiwan just announced that, kind of basically the rest of the year, the rankings are not going to change, which is good for the rest of us foreigners, because if they continue playing and the girls are getting ranked, we are going to lose our ranking spot for next year, which I think is what a lot of people are worried about in terms of like having to go back to Q school and stuff like that. Obviously, it's not fair if we can't go and compete. So yeah, I think they're doing what needs to be done, and I mean everyone's just trying their best with what they can at the moment. So yeah.
So I guess that brings us back to another point. It would have been good if we had local events to play in. Maybe perhaps obviously they still say we can't have tournaments, but just could be like with the girls, maybe 12 players. Just have a little competition.
Definitely.
You should.
Is there any?
And I think we got a viewer all the way from Canada, Miss Kelly Tan. Hi, Kelly.
Hi,
Thanks
Kelly.
for joining us on the show. Good morning to you. Okay, Dono.
Hey, Kelly.
I just saw Kelly Tan. So I just want to say hi to Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kelly's kind of in the middle between Jen and Siwai. Currently on the LPGA. Yeah.
No,
kind of in the middle. I think, Sean, I'll keep quiet for a while. Can you handle the next question? I think.
And we have Kelly Tan say good morning, people. Hi, ladies.
Good morning.
Hey, Kelly.
What's up?
With the baby's Jen.
Oh, man, we're getting a lot of baby. We're getting a lot of baby. We're getting a lot of baby comments from Diane Luke and
I told you,
yeah. You wait for the next Instagram post.
Yeah. Okay.
Jen, it wasn't me. It was Jono. Okay, no.
I will remember this.
Only Kelly.
Anyway, Siwai.
Yes.
So 10 years on tour, second place, in the Kellogg Keebler in 2004, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but what would you rate as the high point in your career?
High point. I mean, I think that was probably one of the most exciting tournaments for me. The other one was also where I was actually in the lead at Sybase. For some reason, Waikagil Country Club was one of my favorite golf courses to play, and I was in the lead for that tournament. I think with 9 holes to go.
Okay.
And just a really good experience. A lot of people were getting very excited, and I think the last 3 or 4 holes, I just had a disastrous last 3 holes. But it was such a good experience to be in the lead and to feel that excitement. But I went from 1st to 10th, so you could hear the money just go cha-ching, cha-ching. Oh, just heartbreaking then.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And CY, you played in quite a number of majors. Which is your favorite, and why?
U.S. Open by far.
US Open. Okay.
Yeah, it's a tremendous. It's such a great stage. I mean, the golf course is like ridiculously hard, right?
Yeah.
But
The
just the
USGA setup.
it's just. I mean, the greens are rock hard. Fairways are ridiculously narrow, and it's like I remember hitting on a par 5 driver, 3-wood, and then 5 iron still. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm never reaching this this hole.
That
yeah,
sounds like me.
yeah, not good if you're a tour player though.
Yeah. But then you got to add in. You got to add in one more 5 iron. The driver, 3-wood, 2 5 irons. Yeah.
So
that's why he's still wearing the Liverpool.
Oh, that's why Liverpool lah. Okay, enough said.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's just the atmosphere. People come into that tournament just can't wait to see golf. And even for the LPGA Tour, I mean, it's the biggest purse on the LPGA Tour. But it's just something about it that just makes it so special.
Jen. Hi, Jen. Baby.
Yes.
Okay, but
She responded.
Did we go there? No. Did we really go there, Dono? Did we really go there? Oh my goodness.
Okay, Jen's had a very interesting period in her career. Just I think a year after turning pro, you won this. You got a spot on the Korea LPGA through a reality show, right? The Cinderella story. And could you perhaps tell us a bit about playing on the Korea LPGA? It's one of the strongest regional circuits around.
Yeah, I mean, I was really lucky. I think just timing. Somehow I just got selected to be one of the girls on that show. And I don't know, like somehow I made it to the top 2 and I got that spot. And it was quite surreal because it was my first year on tour and I was playing with like Inby Park. So it was crazy. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, I just see the way they run the tournaments. It's so professional. And like the fans that they have is crazy. Like I'm literally nobody in Korea, but people even came up to me and like knew who I was, and they would come and follow me and they'd be like, I'm supporting you. And I'm like, wow, I never even felt this kind of, this kind of support from anybody else. So you can just see how big golf is there and just why there's so many players. They're so committed to their players.
Is that a Korean magazine that you appeared in? Is that a golf magazine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it severely photoshops.
And I guess.
No, I don't think so.
And there must be so many talented golfers in Korea. I'm sure even at trying to make it. So there must be many who don't make it as well.
To be honest, okay, I mean, if you're talking about the girls on the KLPGA, all of them could go to the US and just win. Like I played with Jong Lee, 6, who won the US Open, right?
Yeah.
And most of them just don't want to go to the US because they're so comfortable in Korea and it's home, it's always different when you're playing at home and they have their own fans and their own food, their family there to support them. They all have a team. Like every time they're playing golf, there's at least like 3 or 4 people following them. So they're very well supported at home. So I think that's why most of them don't want to go like outside to play. And I mean, the prize money is big enough that they don't really have to as well. But yeah, I think it's quite crazy because they actually have 3 tours. They have like the Dream Tour and everything leading up to the KLPGA Tour, which is the biggest tour.
Okay.
So I can just imagine how many people are like still trying to compete. And yeah, it's quite crazy because there's so many good ones already and we don't even see the rest of them.
Okay, so I guess that explains why every year we see more and more Korean names going and making it to LPGA. Those who decide to go and do the USA route.
Yep.
Amazing. Hopefully, we have that in Malaysia someday. Now let's maybe take a step back and talk about college golf. Both of you, Sui and Jen, both of you went the college golf route. Perhaps you could share with us, starting with Sui. How important was that? You mentioned earlier it helped prepare you for the tour, but must have helped you develop as a person as well, and also obviously competitively.
Yeah, I mean, I came again. Remember, I came from a an era where there was only one junior tournament a year. So in terms of competitive experience, it was somewhat limited. And I did play in the state women's opens, but even then also they were somewhat few and far between. So going into college golf, I think what it afforded me was a consistent tournament schedule. And that actually helped me hone playing skills a little bit better. But I think also it just helps with learning how to practice differently in terms of a team environment. And just, I think being in a team environment as well kind of pushes you a little harder in terms of your practice. While sometimes when you're on your own, you can kind of slack a little bit, or you just get a bit bored or whatever. So teammates actually really made a huge difference.
Who were your teammates in USC? South Carolina.
South Carolina, yeah. South Carolina was Clarissa Childs, and then my roommate in college, Julie Norris. I don't know whether she's listening in or not. She was going to try and follow this episode as well. But yeah, so Julie Norris and Clarissa Childs were kind of the same year that I was, and I think of the whole team, I think only Clarissa actually played on the LPGA as well. So there are not very many that make it all the way through.
You still keep in touch with your teammates from
yeah,
South
we do.
Carolina?
I actually I went back in March before I got locked down for the Southeastern Conference. I got inducted as a legend there. And so
Well
Clarissa
done.
was actually nearby, so she came up and celebrated with me. And then we also had a team reunion about 3 to 4 years back. So one of my teammates from Sweden actually came to Colombia, and so we all met up together. So it was kind of fun. It was a nice reunion.
And Jen, you were in boys state for college golf as well. How important was that stage of your development?
First of all, it's Boise State.
I was gonna say
Boise
the same
State,
thing.
Sorry, but I called it Boise State before, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell everybody it's Boise. But yeah, I mean, I think the most important part of college golf for people like us is actually being alone, having to be independent. I think especially like, you grew up in Malaysia where family is so important to all of us, which is great, but we are always like cuddled, by our parents. So like, when we travel, everything's taken care of by our parents. We don't have to worry. We just sit in the car, go tee off and go back home, But over there, like, you had to take your own responsibility. You had to drive your own car to go to practice. And if you don't go to practice, it's, you're the one that's going to get the consequences. So it's obviously the independent factor, like learning to do things by yourself. And yeah, like Siwai said, like just the scheduling and stuff like that. Obviously that was great because we didn't have to worry so much about like, now I have to go to school and then I'm going to have to think like how many hours I have left to practice. There it was like, it was scheduled for you. You were going to at least get like a certain amount of time to practice. So I think that really helps your golf, and just like the traveling and everything, you really learn how to travel and play golf because sometimes you're back at like 3 a.m. The next day you're going to class at, or practice or workouts or whatever at 7 a.m. So you have to be really disciplined.
Yeah, but before you went to the States, Jen, you I think you mentioned this to me before. It's quite difficult for a young golfer in Malaysia to get a lot of playing time, because of restriction on playing opportunities for juniors.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it is now. I think it's the same. But like I said, when I was younger, I had to get a membership at KITU, which obviously my dad had to buy. And, it was like the family membership. Because if not, I wouldn't be able to get a golf course. Like, I'm not going to pay like 200-300 ringgit to play every single day for 1 week. That's going to be a lot of money. Plus, you have to pay for driving range balls. And then if you don't have a golf club, you cannot practice your shot game because there's no facility that you can just walk in and, just go and use the facility as you like. So I think that's something that I don't really know if that's something that, Malaysian golf courses have to be open to or how it's going to work. But just like that playing opportunity, like And then without my mom, I couldn't go out alone. And, you know, just because I started quite late and I didn't have other friends who were the same age as me at the time, I had nobody to practice with. That's why my mom had to pick up golf. So I think that really limits kind of like the playing opportunity as well, because I can't go out alone. Whereas in the US, I would be out every single day, just walking by myself, carrying my bag and going off, like playing as many holes as I want. So yeah, that was really nice.
And so perhaps, CY, do you concur with Jen, that the playing opportunities perhaps are not as good here as in, other countries, which is why we don't have such a large pool of talent, so to speak?
I would agree with her in part. I think there's little efforts that are starting to be made. I mean, I know like where I teach, Glen Mary Golf and Country Club, they've been very welcoming to junior golfers. They actually have a special junior rate for them. But I think, it's like what Genevieve is saying, being able to just go out and play, put the bag on the shoulder and play as many holes as you want. I think we're still missing that. And I understand as well that there's a limit because there's so many golfers that trying to get out on the golf course as well. But I think in terms of trying to see a generation of where what we're seeing in Thailand, a lot of golfers starting to emerge and emerge at a high level on the professional scene. I think one of the biggest things that is missing is the ability to get on the golf course to play and to hone their playing skills, as well as short game facilities.
Yeah, I guess, for youngsters, I guess, there's only so much they can practice, sooner or later they need to play, because it's fun to play. Whereas
correct. And they lose interest if they don't play.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So Jen, we were talking about this earlier about, playing on the local tour and all that. But that's the professional side, so perhaps, maybe what we should look at is having more public courses in Malaysia. Jen, you think, walk in where you can maybe pay 20 ringgit to just get in 9 holes?
Yeah, I mean, I think
without
that'd be
any
great.
fuss.
I really don't know what the whole like golf course. Obviously I don't have any association to golf courses, like how they run or whatever. But I mean, I don't really understand how it works in the US because they seem to be very open to all these kind of things. And I mean, like the first college tournament that I had to walk 36 holes and I had to carry my own bag. And before that,
Culture shock.
most I've done, it was like 18 holes pulling my trolley, that little cart.
Yeah.
I was so tired after that, but I was like running on adrenaline. But I didn't even know where I was. I was like, am I in the US playing golf right now or what am I doing, Like no idea what was going on, just kept going. But yeah, I think we don't really get the opportunity to do that. Not a lot of courses even allow us to walk. Like, just take your bag and walk. You have to take a cart and you have to take caddies and stuff like that, which is additional cost. So I think that kind of prevents us from playing as well.
Yeah, I think, there's just like so many barriers and, all these different restrictions here, which makes golf very intimidating. Whereas in the US and Australia, it's like just going out to kick a football, right, CY?
Yeah.
Anybody can just go out. I think you can virtually play in your sneakers if you want to in a public course.
Yes, I have seen that too.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, I've seen a lot of public. Okay, think about it this way. Torrey Pines, public course.
Yeah.
I mean, it hosts the US Open, right? So there are a lot of fantastic public golf courses which are of great quality. So I think over here, when we think public course, we always think, oh, it's a lousy golf course, and I think that's really tough as well because it's that stigma. So I think what the US does well is that they really encourage juniors. I mean, even the golf course that I used to teach at Greystone Golf and Country Club, they have a junior rate which is $10. So the kids can come. They pay $10 and they can go and play 9 holes, and then they get free range balls while they're at it. So I mean, it's just stuff like that they're doing it because they want to see the game grow. It's not about making money on the kids. They just wanted the kids to have an opportunity, and I think the $10 is to make them appreciate that it's not a free thing, but at least they're paying into something.
And I guess they have a lot of programs like the First Tee and so on, which actually take the the game of golf, to communities which are not able to play it.
Correct. And it's well supported by the professionals as well. I mean, I remember as a LPGA professional, we would go and help with the LPGA USGA Girls Golf Program, and we would go there as just kind of be role models, talk to the kids. It's at an LPGA event, so we would volunteer an hour of our time in the week just to go and meet them and just to say hello to the kids, sign some autographs. So yeah, it's just just little things like that just to help grow the game.
Speaking of role models, UI, perhaps you could have some. Do you have any advice for someone like Jen? Who's obviously the ultimate goal is to get on the LPGA, but it's a long and tough journey. So what would you say to Jen, since we're on air right now?
I think I won't call you babe, but anyway, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Baby. Sorry. I think one of the toughest things is that you're going to run into a lot of people that say you can't do it. And if this is something that you want to pursue, then you have to be single-minded in what you're trying to achieve. Is the road tough? Yes, it is. And I will tell every single person that it is tough and it will demand everything of you. But if you're willing to make that journey, do it with everything you've got, because you don't want to look back and go, oh, I could have done more. So live with no regrets, really. Yeah, live with no regrets.
So Jen, I'm seeing someone like UI actually playing for 10 years on the LPGA. Now we have Kelly Tan. I guess this must inspire you, towards working hard to achieve that goal as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, just knowing that someone from Malaysia can do it, it's like, why can't I do it as well? Like, they are raised in the same. Well, like what UI just mentioned, like, everybody's going to say you can't do it, right? Which is, to be honest, that's what I grew up with. Like, other than my family, a lot of people were like, you're not good enough. Like, you won't be able to even play like college golf, or you won't be able to go professional or whatever. But at the end of the day, I think it's all within myself. Like, I want to do this, and that's why I'm pursuing it. I'm not doing it because anybody asked me to do it. So I think that is a big difference between like being able to make it or not. And then like just seeing people like Kelly and CY obviously, who work really hard and just, it doesn't matter where you come from, you can do it. Like at the end of the day, golf is just over 18 holes. It's still grass. It's still making a putt. It's still hitting a shot. It's not any different no matter where you are. So I think it's definitely good to see that, it's possible, and hopefully like I can do it and then encourage other people to do it as well, so that golf grows in Malaysia.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have one day when we see more than just one Malaysian on the LPGA at the same time, so, and hopefully Jen is one of those. So anyway, we are coming on the hour mark, so we're going to go off soon, but just one last question for both Jen and CUI. If you could change one thing, CUI, let's start with CUI, in your golf journey, what would it be and why? Just one thing.
Change one thing. Oh my goodness. I think it would be earn more money. Yeah. Actually, you know what? The advice I gave Jen just a minute ago is like live with no regrets. I think I've done that. I think whatever I've wanted, I've pursued. Maybe some of the things I shouldn't have pursued, but the question is, would you do it again? And I would say, yeah, do it again. Thankfully, I can look back.
Regrets.
I know. Yeah, no regrets.
Okay, Jen, what about you? If there's something you would have done differently, in the last 5 or 6 years, what would it be?
I don't know. I'm still, kind of young, not a baby, but young.
Yeah.
I think so far everything that I've done, I definitely do it knowing what I want. So hopefully one day I get what I want. But if there's anything I could tell myself, I would tell myself the name of people that I'm going to have on my team, because it took a while to build this team of people who actually believe in me, of people who think that I can do it and are like pushing me in the right direction. So yeah, I think it's just I think that's super important as well. Just building a team and having someone support you, because as you guys say, it's a really tough journey. Most of the time you're alone. So it's good to have people supporting you and having your back.
Okay. Okay, in a closing, one last thing. CUI, any advice for young golfers out there, especially girls?
Again, it's the same thing I said to Genevieve. I think you should go out and know what you want in life, and once you do, put everything together to achieve that. Nothing new. I think you just have to just stay focused on what you want and just pursue it and give your 100%.
Okay, yeah, give it 100%. Never give up. Always believe in yourself. Great advice there. Jen, anything you want to say to your fans out there before we sign off?
Keep playing golf, and I think if you have questions, like I feel like a lot of people are really scared to approach people like CUI and myself, just to like, oh wow, like I'm not gonna disturb her, like that kind of thing. Obviously, like if you're like super hard in practice and in the zone or whatever, like okay, you kind of know, right? But at the same time, like most of us are there to help, and we can always give advice. Obviously, we don't know everything, but if there is something that we can share or whatever, we are more than happy to. And if if you guys wanna play golf, like that's great too. Like I think playing golf and just seeing the level that other people are at and the level that you're at, and kind of seeing where you want to be, is something helpful as well. So I'm more than happy to play with juniors if they want. So yeah.
Nice.
Can you play with me too, baby?
Oh, she's not gonna
Okay,
listen.
CUI, I'll play with you too. I will play with you too, CUI. But you're
Thank
just
you.
too happy, okay? Baby's just coming up.
Hey, we
So baby,
okay, we're gonna have a battle of the sexes.
Oh,
Me
Come
and
on.
Sean versus
Right
CUI.
there.
okay, yeah.
Okay,
Genevieve,
give us like one stroke per hole. One stroke
Yeah.
per hole.
one stroke.
Boleh tak?
Then we bring in all the Kelly Tans and all that. Okay, we start with CUI
Yeah.
and Genevieve. Okay.
It's been fun, girls. Thank you so much for being on the show. Really
Thank
been
you
fun.
for having
Very,
us.
very
Pleasure.
enlightening.
Right.
Yeah.
We'd like to say thank you
so
for the
much.
time. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing your wealth of knowledge, both of you. I mean, you've given us different perspectives on how a female golfer goes through the tour, right? In different eras, different timings, different experiences, but with the same objective, pursuing what you guys love. Right?
Correct. Golf.
Also, very warming that it all started with family support.
Correct.
Yep. Uh-oh. I think the
Okay, I
internet
think
doesn't
Sean's
like Sean.
frozen. So anyway, CUI. Okay, are you back? Okay.
He's kind of back.
No, that was him
Okay,
signing
so-
out.
Okay. Anyway, thanks again, CUI and Jen, for being on the show. We're going to sign off. Thank you all for watching. So this is the Sweet Spot on Gila Golfers and Par Golf signing off. See you ladies soon. Take care. All the best.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.